Welcome. It's indisputable. I'm your host, Rashad. Richey, good to be with you. We have a lot on the agenda today. Breaking down news of the day, none other than Sharon Reed, host, commentator, TYT sports contributor, all-star. Always fascinating to have her analysis. Top story of the day. Well, there's one individual who caped for Trump, could not secure an attorney, is still locked up. Only one who has been indicted by the Fulton County DA, still in jail. Put up the picture, full mass. All right. You see the crew. This is considered, at least in prosecutorial theory, a criminal enterprise. Thus, the RICO Act applies. Out of that, you have one black male who was the director for Black Voices for Trump. Here he is, full mass. That guy spoke directly to a judge during his first appearance. Here's what he had to say.
I've spoken with several different attorneys before flying out here. The cost is typically between $40,000 to $100,000 just to retain a lawyer for these charges, and then they charge hourly. I cannot afford. I'm not going to put my family in that kind of debt, especially with my daughter. I cannot afford an attorney for something like this.
Okay. Well, Scott McAfee, Judge McAfee will go through the process. If you choose to represent yourself and to not retain a lawyer, he will go through that process and those questions with you. I just want to advise you of your right at this point, that if you wish to hire a lawyer, you have the right to do so, okay?
Put up the picture of Mr. Floyd again. Sir, I'm disappointed. I don't agree with the decisions you've made in your life, but at least honor your craft. The point of being a sellout is to get money. You are broke, incarcerated, a Trump supporter inside of the Fulton County damn jail. This is not working out well for you. D.L. Hughley actually reposted this with the words, "Keep on using me until you use me up." Black Voices for Trump was a propaganda trick meant to dissuade individuals from actually looking at policy. They hired this person, they coordinated with this person for the purpose of tricking Black people. They had no policy agenda for African Americans in this country. They had absolutely no substance in their policy platform. They were simply propaganda machines created by the Trump campaign. Now, if you're willing to do that, at least one would assume you have a friend or two who would provide some level of support in the process of your prosecution. But I have to say, I find it ironic that out of everyone who has been indicted, out of everyone who has had to be booked, he is the only one still inside of that jail, and the only one who cannot afford an attorney, and the only one who has no bond. All right, let's go to it. No arguments were heard during this first appearance for or against bond. That will be left to a yet unscheduled for hearing before Judge Scott McAfee. The judge you saw was the fill-in judge for that day. Judge McAfee is overseeing the RICO case involving Mr. Floyd, Donald Trump, and 17 other co-defendants. Speaking to the judge without representation, unusual in a first appearance proceeding, Floyd disagreed he was a flight risk. "I got on the plane, I voluntarily came here. I am already here on federal pretrial supervision." I will explain that in a moment. He said, referring to a case from earlier this year in which he is charged with assaulting an FBI agent who was serving him a subpoena for a federal grand jury in Washington, D.C. Quote, "Had no issues on being on pretrial supervision. There is no way I'm a flight risk. I showed up here before the president was here." Now, let's go back to what the rules are. Number one, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your perspective, charges can be used in weighing your flight risk or not. Yes, depending on the severity of charges that you may have in another jurisdiction, a judge may say, you're facing a lot, we may have an issue with you. Number one. Number two, the fact that he did not take advantage of what was offered to every defendant, which was the ability to pre-negotiate your bond, is quite telling. Possibly because he couldn't afford an attorney. Well, in that case, sir, I would have at least advocated for myself for a pre-trial or a pre-turn-in bond. According to the prosecution and your silence on the matter, you did not do so. There's more. He's also known as Willie Lewis Floyd III, okay? He served as director of Black Voices for Trump and is accused of recruiting Stephen Lee to arrange a meeting with election worker Ruby Freeman and Chicago-based publicist Trevion Cuddy. So in the theory of the prosecution, he was involved, an active member in securing other people who partook in this alleged conspiracy scheme. So you need to count the ways here. You're a black male. You work for white male bigots intentionally. You're inside of the Fulton County Jail. You don't have an attorney. You currently don't have a bond. And a lot of this is already being placed on you as the narrative. I mean, the way they laid it out, dear brother, it's like you the damn mastermind, sir. All right. Sharon, thoughts here?
Yeah, it's as if you read the filing that he forced them into it almost, right. You know? He's a mastermind and he kind of strong-armed him, his alias. I don't really understand anything, but I too am concerned. I hate it when money is held over someone for their freedom. It is ironic. I don't know how many members Blacks for Trump has, or the spinoff N-word for Trump, if they could all put in $10, $20, Dr. Richey, or like you said, negotiate something ahead of time, steal someone's answer. Can't you just, the details were leaking out on other people, steal someone else's answer and say, God, can I negotiate that? But it's problematic. Hustler without any money?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. And on my radio show this morning, I said, listen, I will give the guy $500 for a bond attorney.
Now see that?
So, his people just need to get with us. We'll give him the $500. Hopefully he can advocate for himself outside of the Fulton County Jail. All right, hell of a thing. We're trying to get more details about this. I want to go straight to the video and then we'll talk about it. Here it is.
Get rid of the drugs.
He can't breathe, y'all. Man, dude.
I can't breathe. Huh?
Why your hand on his neck? He can't breathe, man.
You have a gun on you? No. I can't breathe. Let's pull out here.
Take your hand off his neck, bro.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't.
And he said he can't breathe. Y'all don't do him like this.
Good job. All right, give us your right arm. I can't breathe, man. Give us your right arm.
Take his breath first.
You're okay. Give us your right arm. Hang loose to your right arm. I can't breathe, though. Just arms behind your back, bro. You're going to get tased. I can't breathe. Release your right arm.
Don't take it. Don't take it, man.
I can't breathe.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Come here.
I can't breathe.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Hold on. Take all that crap out of your mouth, bro.
Y'all gonna make him have a heart attack. Don't do him like that.
Give us that.
Please don't do him like that, please. 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 I don't want to have no heart attack. Please don't do him like that. Please don't do him like that.
Put up the picture full mass. I want you to look at this. You see the taser, right? You see the taser to the back of this man. Now, let me tell you why this part is important to note. A neurologist would tell you even pressure to that region of the body can cause a person's arms to lock in place or become very difficult to have mobility. So while they're screaming, "Give us your arm," they were engaged in an action that would have made that impossible, damn near. Let's keep the picture up. We're trying to get more information. A disturbing scene, according to the poster, the uploader out of Nashville, Tennessee, shows Eric Ballard pinned down by police, screaming that he can't breathe. This was on the floor of the gas station, the floor of that gas station, okay? This looks like a suffocation, especially in the beginning of the video. The officers can be seen then dragging the man through the store, forcing his arms behind him as he struggles to pull his chest up for air. That's what he's attempting to do. When they're unsuccessful, they tase him in the upwards 4 times, according to the narrative. The woman filming can be heard begging them to let him have some air, pleading to not give him a heart attack. Also, according to the uploader, this incident occurred last Thursday at the Victory Fuels gas station on Trinity Lane and White Creek Park. Unfortunately, this isn't something new. We've seen it over and over again. As soon as they release their arms, there's no leverage to stop officers from killing them. We have seen that happen before. We've shown you the video. All right, okay. So once again, information still forthcoming. I know some people will say, well, what did he do? I don't give a damn what he did. Let me make that very clear. I'm talking about process and procedure. Here's what I do know is a fact. He's innocent. Let me say that again. I know for a fact that he's innocent. Well, Doc, how do you know that? Because in America, you are innocent unless you are proven guilty. It is a legal standard that must be respected. He is innocent until proven guilty. I know some people say innocent unless proven guilty. I want to say this. Procedure is important to the entire scheme of cop-community relationship. There are many arrests that all communities would actually agree with. They would say that person needed to be arrested. We get that part. But the process of how you carried it out, being a judge, jury, executioner, or assaulter, that part is where the friction typically will lie. Now, many times, obviously, we see individuals who are railroaded. They were innocent 100%. Those cases are also there. But process is important. So we want more information. If you got it, send it to us, all right? Sharon, thoughts here.
I have to stop saying that they are treating the police, cops, this person like an animal. Because had that been an animal, as they pressed against his back and squeezed 4 times, I think he said, Dr. Richey, there would be instant consequences. People would be sharing, taking to the streets, and there'd be instant consequences.
That's right.
Here, still waiting to find out the details at a convenience store.
Right. All right, we'll bring you updates as they come. All right, we have an indisputable exclusive. workplace nightmare. Man being subjected to terms like monkey and other things. Goes to management, they do nothing about it. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to first go to a video. Here it is.
I just want to do this real quick. Let me ask you something. Now, it don't have to do with nothing out here today. When we had Thanksgiving and you made the banana pudding.
I didn't make the banana.
But she made it.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
I'm not saying you, but she was here and the monkey jokes and the bananas, it was inappropriate.
I wasn't even here when she made it. She wasn't here on Thanksgiving.
No, she made it before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
But I was just wondering why those innuendos that she be saying that you don't speak up for me. I've always had your back. When I brought you over here, I spoke up to Sharon about your ex.
She's not talking about you.
No, but doesn't make no difference. Those monkey jokes.
Oh, whatever. That's always what she says. I don't know why she says that.
Okay, but she shouldn't do that because that's that connects with black people.
Oh,
and another thing was that I wasn't trying to trip on Sean today.
Right.
It was the thing that I didn't want her in my business because when Sean's talking to me, what did she say? He does the same thing to me.
Yeah.
And I don't. And then she throws me under the bus with everybody.
Right.
I mean, come on. At what point are we gonna have to stop?
Right.
Just treat me good because I'm not a bad person.
Right.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
But I'm at the point now where I'm infused with my boss about all that's been said that I'm doing back here, and I'm not doing that but doing my job.
Yeah.
And it's getting kind of disrespectful. And I don't know what to do. I'm going to the program in Black Lives Matter Monday and to the Equal Opportunity Board. I don't think Mr. English can stand for the discrimination.
Yeah.
But I thank you.
All right. Well, I'm sorry, SS.
All right. Don't trip.
Okay.
Put up the picture full mass. You're looking at a good man, Stephen Scott, okay? He's a kitchen worker. According to him, he endured racist comments by his superior. He then complained to HR as protocol demands. According to him, nothing happened. Stephen Scott was a cook at the Beast restaurant in Area 15 of Las Vegas. Some of you know that spot very well. And for months, according to him, he was subjected to his superior's racially charged monkey jokes that happened so often. Many of the staff were well aware of them. So the person that you're looking at, well, that's a coworker of his. And he is documenting that even the coworker, according to him, whose back he has had, did not have his back when these things were being said. Let's put up the supervisor. This is Miss Christina Bessanai. Made jokes, according to him, such as asking her coworkers, have you seen the lips on a monkey? Have you seen a monkey peel a banana? As well as swinging her arms and making monkey sounds around Mr. Scott. After enduring this racist environment, Mr. Scott filed a complaint with HR, stating, and I quote, I could have dealt with her innuendos. I could have dealt with her innuendos, remarks, and continued to keep a working relationship. But the monkey banana jokes, I ask that you use this written statement of one of the videos as evidence. End quote. HR provided a response. We have that response. HR responded to the complaint. In the complaint, they say, and I quote, after our investigation, we found there was no malice intent, end quote. Keep that up. What has HR done? Provided context, not denial. They did not say, oh, this didn't happen. They're not saying, you're right, it is inappropriate, but maybe it did not have the intent you thought. So we're going to still clear it up, make sure it's a professional environment you work in, let her endure training since you had to endure racism. Nothing. We investigated, no malice intent. Mrs. Scott told Indisputable, and I quote, for 2 months, My supervisor told these jokes and other Black-related jokes. At every opportunity, she threw me under the bus with all my colleagues. I filed a complaint with HR. They found it was without malice intent. She is new to the country, but she has lived here for 15 years. We reached out to Area 15. We reached out to the manager for comment on the incident. We have not yet received a response. We also reached out to the restaurant owner. Who? Chef Todd English, who did not immediately respond for comment. Chef English, you have a reputation to uphold, sir. I recommend you put a response on record, launch an exacting investigation into what happened, and provide clarity as to how your company will move forward. I'm not done with this story. All right? We'll bring you the update. Sharon, thoughts here?
Hopefully the chef gets rid of at least 2 people, not the complainant, obviously. We should not go to the establishment until we have more clarity on where the chef, the owner, stands. I tend to think that it's very sad to hear a Black man pleading and writing that he can put up with the innuendos and I'm a good guy. You don't have to be related to Mother Teresa to be treated with just a measure of respect. That's all he was asking for, until white people are the ones who not have his back, but just step up and say, don't do that here. And that's not what we're about.
Yeah.
Here we go again.
There you go. And listen, why do you have to talk about monkeys at work? Right? It's not a professional dynamic anyway, regardless of intent. You got entire laws that have been passed in places like Georgia that make it, places like Florida in particular, and about to be places like Georgia that make it illegal to make white folks uncomfortable. It's against the law. In Florida already, legislation is being proposed in early legislative cycle in the state of Georgia. But a Black male who works with you, who's your colleague, who works hard, says, listen, can you just, that's offensive to me. Can you just stop with that? And no one, not one person agrees? All right. They'll be talking now. We got more on the other side. It's indisputable. Stick and stay. All right, welcome back. We have a lot of show left. Let me read some of these amazing comments. And thank you in advance for always keeping it right here. All right. Arijane says, what's up, Doc? I haven't been in position to comment on the show recently, but I've been listening. Thank you for all you do. And thank you for all you do. Iron sharpens iron. Next, TYT reporter talking about the cop who smothered a man. I would be shouting, and you wonder why the public hates you. Winter Scoop, the Las Vegas Food Workers Union is one of the most powerful in the country. Woke Dragon, I cannot believe that Black men didn't think those white people would lead him down a bad path. And Mike Nice, HR works for the company, hence no malice. That is true. They work for the company. James Thompson, gifted one indisputable. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Colin Hutton, thank you. All right, Doc, that graphic you put up with Trump and his co-defendants inside of the squares got me thinking of the Brady Bunch. It's the Donnie Bunch. Hashtag the Donnie Bunch. We may need to, make a t-shirt. Somebody needs to make a t-shirt of Trump, the picture of his mugshot that says surrendered. All right, so it's truthful. All right, one more. Twitch. LV18 white girl, love 18 white girl, I think. Hey, Doc, can I get a shout out for my son, Nobu, who was born yesterday? I'm sure he's gonna be a fan of yours in the future. Nobu, this is your shout out. You are already great, all right? Just know it. Good stuff. Got something for you. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish a Karen would.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
You're still free! Back off!
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Hey, stop! Hey, bro, my man. We're not gonna do this. Hey, Johnny, we need you in tomorrow. Bro, keep walking, bro. Keep walking. Yeah, thank you, bro. That's all he wants. Let's get Yo!
Put it up, full mask. We don't know the prerequisite to this. So some of this on my part is going to be speculation. But I do know the parts that we see. This is being dubbed a male Karen in Hollywood decided to pick a fight with an unsheltered man, proceeding to engage in the conduct that you saw. He spat on the man's face. Do you understand? The man is already having a difficult time at life. He spat on the man's face. The man trying to retain some level of dignity did not act in violence. The man seemingly only wanted a used cigarette. So instead of this male Karen allowing him some level of dignity, hey man, you can have this cigarette, have another. Or talking to him like a human being, he decides to throw it at him after he spat on him. This is called making lemonade from lemons. He enjoyed his free cigarette, said thank you, and walked off. There's only one villain in this story, in my opinion. Also, I'm thankful to the bystander who was attempting to provide some level of humanity to the situation. No, we're not going to do that, he said. Put it back up. You know, I really don't like people who go around intentionally trying to take the dignity away from a human being. People are valuable because they are. And really, there's something beautiful about everybody. Sir, even you. I can't see it in this video. Your actions do not suggest it. But there's something inside of you that allows you to redeem from the moment. This could have been a great opportunity to exercise something called humanity, compassion, love, attributes that are stronger than the hate you seemingly have for this person. And to the victim of this male Karen, brother, you are powerful, you are loved, you are respected by me and many others. Hold on to that energy. Hold on to that feeling. And just walk away from those like him. All right, Sharon, thoughts here.
Powerful indeed. I felt so powerful and good that he was for a moment walking on water, okay?
Yeah.
To not react in this way. I too don't like people who try to take away others' dignity. I also want those people to get theirs. It's just something I'm working on, Doc. It's like that movie Trading Places, Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
I would like for him, since there's no empathy there, I would like for him to just get a dose of something that will make him understand how gross that was.
Right. Yeah. I don't have any issue with that. I will make it very clear. I'm not the turn the other cheek guy. I'm not the take the high road man. I would take the same road you came traveling your happy ass on. I would take that exact road.
Every time you say it.
Yeah. Mean it. All right. One of the most shocking videos you'll ever see in your life. K9 brutally assaults a man In addition to that, the officer decides to beat the man with a racket. Here it is.
You don't work for the police. Sit your ass down. Now.
Yep, give us a channel.
Sit down. Sit down.
Got him?
Get off the
Get off the dog!
All right, guys, so
Relax your hands. Give your hands down, you get tased. Taser. Hands do now.
please.
You're gonna get it again, please. Next.
There's more video, but it is so graphic. We're not allowed to show the carnage this created. Put up the picture. I'm going to give you some significant background to what you just saw. Yes, you saw a dog, a canine, a police canine being placed on a man because he did not sit down in time. And then as the canine is attacking the man, as the canine unfortunately is trained by the police to do, the police officer takes a weapon or weaponizes another device in order to beat the man. Then he starts screaming, "Get off the dog." No, the dog was on him. And then the man, obviously traumatized by this action, covers his face because his face is fully ripped apart, bloody. He covers his face. Officer says, let your hands down. Okay, take your hands down. I'm gonna tase you. And then proceeds to brutalize him more. K-9 officer Joshua Martin, alongside an unidentified partner, responded to what is being called a burglary in progress at about 2:10 a.m. April 18th. The arrest report states that while the victim, Richard O'Donnell, initially complied with officers, he later switched to a defensive stance while holding the racket. Officer Martin threatened him with a K9 before releasing it on O'Donnell. The arrest report fails to mention Officer Martin striking O'Donnell with the same racket that they mentioned in the report. O'Donnell was also tased twice while on the ground by both officers. O'Donnell was charged with burglary, battery on a law enforcement officer, and resisting an officer with violence. He was released after posting a $12,000 bond on June 21st. In a supervisor's review of the body cam footage, the department wrote, and I quote, "After review of the report, Axon BWC footage, photographs, and other supporting documentation, no policy violation observed." Really? Let's put up the man in charge. Okay? The body cam footage was released on YouTube by O'Donnell's stepmother, Debbie O'Donnell, captioned, "This is what Daytona Beach Police did to my son." The Daytona Beach Police Department or Chief of Police Jakari Young are yet to make any public comments on the matter beyond the released review. Keep that up for a second. So when is it policy for a police officer to take a racket, okay, and start beating a human being with it while being attacked by a K9, a cop K9 that's trained to kill? When did that become policy? Are police officers in the academy trained on the use of rackets to become weapons? Of course not. Why was the man tased when he was obviously traumatized? Was there any assessment as to the mental health or mental well-being of the individual that the officer saw? Why have you not said anything directly? You see, sir, I think you know what happened here. I think that's the reason you have not offered a comment on record. But I want to submit this to you, sir. Silence does not equate to good. It emboldens bad people to do bad things. Now, I want you to think about this, Chief. What if that was a member of your family? Do you think they would have survived that attack? What if it happened to be you? And they mistook you for a burglar? Do you think you would have survived it? Is this the only time this officer has done something like this? These are answers that you know. We don't. Sharon, thoughts here.
I think you're asking the right questions, Doc. When is it policy to tase a suspect? When the gang says it is, because the gang makes up its own rules. What is the policy about tasing someone who's not resisting? Whatever the gang says. Gangs make up their own societal rules. They punish and do based on their own inside code of conduct. I don't want to hear any more about the street gangs terrorizing America's cities and communities until we include all gangs. This is a gang.
There you go. Well said. We got more on the other side. It's indisputable. Stick and stay. Let's talk about the racism in Florida, the racist shooter, and the racist governor who had the audacity to act as if he does not promote this kind of atmosphere. Here it is.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is here. We're going to ask the governor if he will come down and bring remarks.
Thank you for doing this. I want to just say to the councilwoman, I got you. Don't worry about it. We've already been looking to identify funds to be able to help make sure there's adequate security for Edward Waters College. We are not going to allow these institutions to be targeted by people.
Your policies cost this! These guns are on your head!
Damn right. Don't let him say another word. Now, some may be saying, well, what did he do? Is it because of his policies? Well, let's count the ways. The Stop Woke Act. You can't protest, and if you do and disrupt traffic, we're going to now give you a felony. How about this one? Arresting Black voters after they were told by the Board of Elections they could register to vote. Having a camera crew make sure that it was, promoted for the state. Or perhaps the fact that he downplayed white supremacy by saying he's never met a white supremacist. You make your pick. Put up the picture full mass. Jacksonville, Florida. Ryan Christopher Palmer, 1-1, killed 3 people on Saturday, as you're well aware. It was a racially motivated attack where the killer targeted Black people at a Dollar General store. As police entered the building, he killed himself. The sheriff's office named the 3 victims: 19-year-old Anot Joseph AJ Lagreri Jr., 52-year-old Angela Michelle Carr, 29-year-old father Gerald Deshaun Gallion. They're dead. When you kill a person, you don't just kill a person. You take a piece of those who love them away. Also destroy the lineage of whatever future children they would have had. You kill an entire generation, is my point. In the middle of the rampage, this killer texted his father at 1:18 p.m. and instructed him to use a screwdriver to enter his room, where police said he found a last will and testament and a suicide note on the laptop. He also left manifestos where he declared his disgusting ideology of hate and his motive in the attack, according to Jacksonville Sheriff T.K. Waters. Let's put up what they found. The sheriff said investigators believed the killer acted alone. Worse, both a tactical vest and mask during the attack. He was armed with an AR-15 style rifle. It had swastikas drawn on it and a handgun. The killer bought at least 2 of his guns legally, even after being involuntarily held on a mental health or in a mental health facility on a mental health hold back in 2017, authorities said on Sunday. Let me give you more background. The killer was 21 years of age, had no criminal arrest record prior to his massacre, but he was held under the Baker Act 6 years ago. That's a Florida law which allows for an individual to be held involuntarily for up to 72 hours for examination if authorities suspect that someone has severe mental illness and presents an immediate danger to themselves or others. This killer was a registered Republican, which means he's a DeSantis supporter and Trump supporter. That's according to voter records. But both of his parents are registered as Democrats according to voting records. Simone Sanders had this to say.
Republican candidate for president Vivek Ramaswamy also gave his reaction to the shooting this morning on Meet the Press. Now, Ramaswamy claimed that racism is dwindling in this country and he does not want to add fuel to the fire. But on Friday, he said this on the campaign trail in Iowa.
I'm sure the boogeyman white supremacist exists somewhere in America. I've just never met him. Never seen one. Never met one in my life, right? Maybe I'll meet a unicorn sooner.
Maybe he should visit Charleston, South Carolina, Mother Emanuel, the grocery store in Buffalo, New York, or a Dollar General in Jacksonville, Florida. Too many of our political leaders refuse to call out or even acknowledge extremist racist rhetoric.
Isn't it amazing? That's their go-to. I've never met a white supremacist before. I had a cop, Officer Tatum, they call him, in the bullpen. His argument was, he's never met a racist cop. You know, maybe you've never met a serial killer. Does that mean they do not exist? Maybe you have never met a foster child. Does that mean they do not exist? It's insane. The rebuttal that they put forth, and it's even more insane, the people who accept it. I'm happy they shut down the Satan at that damn political posturing that he was doing. Nothing more. He was there so he would not get criticized for not being there, while creating, advocating, supporting policies that create the very environment which you see there. Sharon, thoughts?
You know, Vivek and his happy veneers that smile through our community's pain, they're on my last damn nerves. Yeah. They really are. And with all due respect to the sheriff in Jacksonville, the gunman didn't act alone, okay? He was assisted, as you mentioned, by Ron DeSantis, others, the Republican Party, people who wanted to, that's just my political affiliation. No, it's not. It's an ideology that kills now, okay? We're to the point where don't act like you don't know that it definitely kills. Public shaming is good, Dr. Richey. They didn't boo him as bad as they did Ted Cruz at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
But it only works, this powerful tool, if you're capable of feeling the shame.
That's right. You gotta have a soul for that. All right. Speaking of soulless individuals, Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse says, oh my goodness, I'm being sued again for defending my life. I can't move on. They're making it hard for me to live. Put up his picture full mask. Kyle Rittenhouse, the man who decided it was a good idea to cross state lines and kill people. Well, back in 2020, he did this, and according to him, people should just move on. He's now being sued by the estate of one of the men who died. Rittenhouse obviously got some blowback from this post on Twitter. I'm being sued again for defending my life, he says. Rittenhouse told Texas Scorecard, and I quote, "These lawsuits are making it harder and harder for me to move on with my life. It is extremely difficult to go outside without fear of being harassed or assaulted because of the lies spread in these lawsuits. No one should have to continue to defend the fact they acted in self-defense," end quote. Put up his picture again. Okay. See, that's the image. Media, especially right-wing media, wants you to remember. But here's the image the people he killed saw before meeting their maker. A guy with a gun. Okay? Now let's keep the picture up. The person who got him the gun was actually found guilty because the gun was given to him against lawful statute. But Rittenhouse was found not guilty, the one in possession of the gun and the one who pulled the trigger. You know, there's a novel theory in many states that simply says if you are the aggressor and people are defending themselves, you do not get to claim self-defense once that happens. Rittenhouse on the left, he then, at this point, was 17. He shot and killed 3 human beings. The men chased Rittenhouse believing he was an active shooter. Rittenhouse claimed self-defense and was acquitted on all counts in November of 2021. Huber's father, John Huber, filed the civil lawsuit over his son's death following the acquittal. So earlier this year, Huber's father actually won a court ruling that now allows him to continue the lawsuit against Rittenhouse, which prompted him to start raising money on social media, which then prompted Rittenhouse to complain how difficult his life is. Sir, at least you have one. You have one. They don't. You are the but-for factor, in my opinion. You went there and they're dead. If you were not there, they would be alive. Sharon, thoughts here?
Yeah, he wasn't there defending his life. He was there quenching his thirst. The police gave him water, and then he gunned down people. That's what he was doing there, not protecting his life. He sought out people, hunted, aimed, fired.
Yep. All right. And there are many who hold that opinion. As a matter of fact, I would say the majority of people in America hold that opinion, that what he did was illegal. What he did was wrong. But he got away with it. In my opinion, this is part of the universe not allowing anyone to get away truly with anything. I know your life is difficult. It should be. All right, we got more on the other side. It's indisputable, stick and stay. All right, welcome back. Still got a lot of show left. Let me read some of these amazing comments. Okay. Gingerbread says, drowning him out with booing made me joyous. Made me joyous too. Yep. Burning the Kiwi Dragon, thank you for that. Okay, Ramaswamy, Swarmy, yeah, I like that. Has never met a righteous person. Therefore, they don't exist to him. So sad to think he is surrounded only by cruel and vicious individuals, and that is all he has ever known. Richard, I think this is Geraldsrud. Pronunciation key may be neat. I apologize in advance. He took a firearm into a city he didn't even live in to purposely kill anyone who crossed his path. How is that protecting yourself? Right, exactly. Also, Jamal G, thank you for that. Member for 2 months. The Satan just needs to back off with his hypocrisy. That's right. Agreed. He wants to be that person who's adversarial to Black progress. Don't give him room in Black spaces. Don't play those games with him. He needs to know he's not welcome, just like he has let us know we're not welcomed. All right? Okay. Hell of a thing, a man who chased Black Lives Matter protesters with a weapon has been convicted. I want to show you some video. Here it is.
Oh, shoot, what the hell? Oh my God, this guy just drove through the people. Holy. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Llama a la policía, mami, llaman a la policía. ¿Y dónde estamos? Estamos entre Clintonville y Cross Island. ¡Uy, no! Tómale el ala. Tómale el ala. Eso lo hice.
Wow. Put up the picture full mass. You see this man? He terrorized individuals. According to Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz, 57-year-old Frank Cavaluzzo was convicted of 9 counts of attempted murder for attacking peaceful Black Lives Matter demonstrators in June of 2020. First charging at them wearing a glove with serrated blades, and then attempted to run them down driving his SUV on the sidewalk. Multiple methods he attempted to employ to kill people. Per her office's press release, the DA said, and I quote, "A dangerous man is going to jail. It's a good day for New York and the First Amendment." According to the reports at the time, this individual was increasingly angered by the George Floyd protest, posting on Facebook such threats as, quote, "I still have that bullet in the chamber, and several others for the rest of the scum trying to take down my Constitution." Right? Prior to Floyd's murder, he was already railing against the government at every level, and Democrats like Nancy Pelosi, who he claimed were trying to seize the guns of all Americans. Let's put it up. It says on June 2020, at approximately 3:45 p.m., this is trial testimony, at the intersection of the Cross Island Parkway, Service Road, and Clintonville Street in Whitestone, a group of peaceful demonstrators hung up signs and posters in support of Black Lives Matter following the death of Mr. George Floyd. This individual came upon the demonstrators while driving, abruptly stopped his SUV across the street and began screaming profanities and racial slurs, including, quote, "You're in the wrong neighborhood." There's more. He then made a U-turn, exited the vehicle wearing 4 blades attached to a leather glove strapped to his right arm, and chased several of the demonstrators while waving the bladed glove and screaming at them. He re-entered his vehicle and yelled, "I will kill you," before driving on the sidewalk at the demonstrators. Following the 2-week trial, he was convicted of 9 counts of attempted murder in the second degree, 9 counts of attempted assault in the first degree, 7 counts of menacing in the second degree, criminal possession of a weapon in the fourth degree, and reckless driving. After the conviction on Friday, August 18th, Queens Supreme Court Justice Michelle A. Jackson is set to sentence this horrible individual October 13th. We will bring you that update. He is also scheduled to be sentenced in October and faces up to 25 years behind bars for the crimes. each count of attempted murder. His lawyer argued that he struggled with his mental health and struggled to understand the evolving city where he lives, the New York Times reported. Oh, poor thing. See, mental health decline is not the prerequisite to immunity with criminal charges. It's your understanding of right and wrong. Did you know what you were doing was wrong? And according to every action and response before and after, he was well aware that his actions were illegal. He was aware that he would be placed in jail for them. And he was aware that he needed to try to get away with it on some level. Well, that's evidence of a guilty conscience. You knew right from wrong. There you have it. Sharon, thoughts here.
And he knew that he didn't like looking around and seeing too many black and brown people in the neighborhood as his motivation. The streets of Queens, a lot safer tonight now that Freddy Krueger wannabe is off the streets. And let me say this, I think it's brilliant that attempted murder was on the table here, because you've covered many a story, Doc, where somebody could get away with something with just a slap on the wrist, maybe even a misdemeanor. And here, these are serious charges. You're going away, Freddie.
Yep, because you had a serious leader prosecuting a serious case. You got a serious result. That's how it works. All right, Hooters is being sued because according to the workers, when they came back to Hooters, when things opened back up for the world, Hooters only brought back the white employees, not the black employees. Hell of an allegation. Let's put up the picture full mass. Everybody's familiar with the restaurant chain. So they're being sued for racial discrimination against black employees after rehiring exclusively white or very light complected employees following the pandemic layoffs. Let me give you the background. According to the recent lawsuit, 5 black employees were laid off from the location at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic in March 2020. By May 2020, Hooters began to recall the workers, all of whom were white, as of June 11th, 2020. The Matari restaurant had retained, recalled, or rehired 26 employees total. None were black at this time, that's according to the complaint. The complaint also argues that race-based discrimination started long before 2020. Black servers, hostesses, and bartenders were subjected to, and I quote, frequent, demeaning, and offensive remarks based on race. From at least 2017, according to the court filing, the complaint further asserts that dark-complected Hooters girls experienced racial hostility and observed preferential treatment of white employees while employed at the restaurant, and also received less favorable shifts. Though the lawsuit is new, it isn't the first time Hooters has been here. Hooters, one of the nation's best known so-called restaurants, is no stranger to lawsuits alleging gender discrimination, racial discrimination, and sexual discrimination. In 1997, Hooters notoriously defended an employment lawsuit brought by would-be male waiters who alleged they had been victims of sex discrimination. Ultimately, the waiters' lawsuit ended with the Hooters paying out millions in settlement money to the plaintiffs. So this has been going on for decades with Hooters around the nation. Now you have something that's a little bit more, let's just say, concrete. You have multiple individuals who are all claiming the same exact thing in this lawsuit. There's no deviation from the narrative here. It's going to be interesting to see how Hooters responds legally to this. Do they want all of the dirty information out in a proceeding, which obviously creates a public relations nightmare for the chain? Or do they respond with an authentic investigation? We don't know yet, but we do know this lawsuit will be followed by it indisputable. Sharon, thoughts here?
You know, I'm tempted to say that this is just one little thing. And if it were called booties instead of Hooters, perhaps it would have been a different outcome. But you ran down the history here, Doc, and the bottom line is they're discriminating against black women, not about their customers, okay? We're plenty in demand. This is just about bigotry.
There you go, well said. All right, we got more on the other side. It's indisputable stick and stay. All right, welcome back. We still have a lot of show left. Let me read just a few of these comments. I'm somewhat pressed for time, but can read one or two. Man convicted. All right, Marquise Dillinger. We 2 steps from purge. Let's not put that out there. I know what you mean by that. Thought has crossed my mind too. Like, the hell is going on out here? It seems like these people think somehow this is an active movie. You got to hold people like that accountable. Hold them accountable, send a clear message. Maybe it gets through. All right. Hell of a thing. Former chief of staff of Donald Trump has basically admitted guilty. Guilty. I did it. It's me, Judge. The only thing I'm asking you to do, please don't let that black woman prosecute me in Fulton County. Can you please send this case to an old white federal judge? I kid you not. Put up. Let's go to the video. Here it is.
Mr. President, everybody is on the line, and just so, this is Mark Meadows, the Chief of Staff.
When the president asked for additional votes to overturn the election.
I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have.
Meadows, who unexpectedly took the stand today, testified that he organized the call as a federal official, acting under color of his office. Former Justice Department official Tom Dupree said Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis can easily dispute that.
She's arguing that he went way beyond what a chief of staff is expected to do or is even legally permitted to do, that he was engaged in political behavior, which chiefs of staff can't do. It's certainly not part of their official duties.
Oh, isn't that something? Put up his picture. Full mask. This is going to be an interesting background. So Mark Meadows actually testified in court this week that actions detailed in a sweeping indictment that accuses him of participating in a legal conspiracy to overturn then President Donald Trump's 2020 election loss were all simply part of his job as White House Chief of Staff. Attorneys for the former White House Chief of Staff deployed what some experts consider to be a risky strategy, more than risky. This is an insane strategy, but I'm loving it. Putting their client on the stand to testify about what he did after the 2020 election. At first, no one was sure Meadows would even attend the hearing. Instead, he did even more, answering questions from his attorneys and prosecutors about decisions that now have him indicted. The extraordinary testimony came in the first courtroom skirmish in a case that's likely to have many. Meadows' claims were part of an argument that the case should be moved to a state court, from a state court, to a federal court. U.S. District Judge Steve Jones did not immediately rule, all right? So as Trump was consumed by claims of widespread election fraud in the weeks after his 2020 loss, the former top presidential aide said it was difficult to focus on the things that needed to be done to wind down the presidency. As a result, Meadows said he took actions to determine whether the allegations were true, including actions prosecutors alleged were improper. Meadows said he didn't believe he did anything that was outside of my scope as chief of staff. So during the hearing, Meadows' attorney, George J. Terwilliger, called his client to the stand and asked about his duties while being the chief of staff. The lawyer then walked him through the acts alleged in the indictment to ask if he had done those as part of his job. For most of the acts listed, Meadows said he had performed them as part of his official duties. In cross-examination, the prosecutor, Anna Cross, ticked through the same acts. To ask Meadows what federal policy was being advanced on each item. He said repeatedly that the federal interest was in ensuring accurate and fair elections, but she accused him several times of not answering her question. So this goes back and forth. Meadows testified that he was acting under the color of a federal officer when he tried to get the Georgia officials to retract their belief that Joe Biden was the lawful winner, et cetera, et cetera. So let me say this. I love it when people overestimate their intelligence here, okay? The man literally admitted to everything against him. As a matter of fact, the legal expert who was consulted right after the testimony for the local news, when posed the question, the legal expert for the local news channel said, the man has admitted to everything against him. That was the answer. Like, what else is there? The man has literally said, I did it, but I did it for this reason. And because I did it for this reason, you need to now send my case to a federal court because I was acting as a federal officer when I did it. Well, here's the problem. Number one, you violated the Hatch Act. You see, if your actions were lawful, sir, they would in fact be covered under federal jurisdiction. But even if that's the case, you decided to hop your happy ass to Cobb County, Georgia, and engage in criminality, according to the prosecutor, which gives the Fulton County prosecutor, guess what? It gives them jurisdiction because under the State RICO Act, crimes outside of Fulton County within the state of Georgia can be considered. I don't think your attorneys broke that part down to you. You have now pleaded guilty without pleading guilty. You also threw Trump under the bus, probably, once again, overestimating your intelligence here. You said that he told you this is what needs to happen. So either A, he's directing it, or B, he's in agreement. But you made it clear you were doing this as what? Part of your job. Who do you work for? Donald Trump. I'm loving this case already. These are beautiful things. They're giving us nuggets here. And then last, but definitely not least, they questioned Brad Raffensperger, the Secretary of State, Chief Elections Officer who received that phone call. Brad is posed the question, hey, Brad, when you were talking to, Meadows, did you think you were talking to a federal officer? No. His response, no. Let the games begin, gentlemen. All right, Sharon, thoughts here.
People who overestimate their intelligence usually haven't been challenged, rather they've been anointed, and that's generally what happens. You are closer to the law, obviously, Doc, than I am, but among the things Mark Meadows is charged with is basically being a mail Karen, okay? Right. You don't got no election business down here in the state of Georgia.
Right.
Karen.
Yeah.
But you tried it, you got turned away. And now, look at you.
Look at you now. Okay, all right. We got one of those very, very happy stories. A police officer, a deputy, did a very beautiful thing. Let's put a picture up full mass. Very proud of this young lady, Muskogee County, Georgia. She's a deputy. Her name is Aaliyah Miller. Aaliyah Miller made a decision where to go for a lunch break. And that decision helped prevent a woman and a 2-month-old child from drowning in a river last week. Wednesday, August 16th started just like any other day for the deputy as she was taking a walk for her lunch break along the Riverwalk in a place called Columbus, Georgia. She spotted a woman holding her infant and threatening to dive into the Chattahoochee River. Local station WSB reports the woman had been making posts on Facebook about her intentions. The Sheriff's Department and Columbus Police Department both received numerous calls from concerned citizens about them. Miller and another fellow officer approached the woman. Eventually, they managed to talk her down, saving both her and the baby. Deputy Miller stayed with the 2-month-old in an air-conditioned fire truck until another family member could arrive to pick them up. WSB reports. People have praised Miller for her service in real life and online. Quote, I want to commend Deputy Miller, the Columbus Police Department, the Columbus Fire and EMS on a job well done. Muskogee County Sheriff Greg Countryman wrote in a statement on Facebook. Thanks to the quick thinking and response time, they prevented a tragedy from occurring today. Your dedication to going above and beyond the call of duty is what we should all strive to achieve each and every day. You saved 2 lives, Deputy Miller. I know the family is extremely grateful for you. Facebook user Jessica Moody said. Now I want you to keep that statement up. Notice something here. It's called connection. The sheriff and the community are in agreement. Who brought them into agreement? Put up her picture. An act of humanity by a Black woman named Deputy Miller. That's your model. That's your blueprint right there to end the divisions, or at least decrease them significantly. They did not engage in some kind of SWAT operation. We have literally seen on Indisputable people who are threatening to kill themselves end up being shot and killed by the police. What kind of sense does that make? For a human life, we got all day. You got a knife? I'm not going to shoot you. We got all day. And if we got to stay later, that's overtime for you. You're getting paid on the clock. If we got to change a shift out, we got all day. Just don't kill yourself. You know what'll happen? They get tired. They get hungry. They talked to this woman. They reminded her she was human, not the other way around. They did not make her feel like scum. They made her feel like there was hope. Saved 2 lives. Way to go, Deputy Miller. Proud of you. Sharon, thoughts here.
Deputy Miller is remarkable, a remarkable example of humanity. Look what happens when a human being with empathy shows up, cares, and talks to another human who's in despair. And look how easily the community can agree and rally around her. You're right, Dr. Richey. It doesn't take much. Don't believe this lie about how difficult it is to make a connection, a human one, between police and community. They're there to serve and protect.
There it is. Very well said. Always a pleasure having you on this program. Tell people how they can follow you. Check out your great work.
Pleasure's all mine. Appreciate you more. Sharon Reed live across all platforms. TYT Sports, another installment goes up soon.
Looking forward to it. Always fascinating. Beautiful stuff. All right. Remember, take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Take care of the planet. Remember, the truth is always indisputable. Indisputable is still the fastest growing news show in America compared to CNN, Fox News, and 30 other networks. We tell the truth on Indisputable because the truth is indisputable. We go places that other news media outlets refuse to go. When there were human rights abuses happening at the Victorville prison, guards and members of the community contacted us.
You, through your investigative reporting, unearthed very troubling allegations about specific forms of abuse and discrimination in the federal prison system.
It really doesn't take much to be a trusted voice. All it takes is to be fearless, report on matters, be an advocate. I called it the bullpen intentionally because it's a place of preparation. We present individuals who may have an opposing view, so we debate. Sometimes we interview individuals because their stories deserve to be heard. A survivor of significant police misconduct and his attorney. We covered this story earlier and to remind you of the horror of one man being shot at damn near 100 times by the police. We take time on this show to showcase the temper tantrums of Karens in the wild. We do this not because we want to see people's emotional outbursts in public, but because these incidents are emblematic of a bigger societal issue taking place across the nation, and it has to be checked.
My friend, my big homie, attorney at law, Benjamin Crump.
I just want to thank you, man. When educated, articulate brothers like yourself speak truth to power, it makes a great difference in changing the landscape in America.
Listen, no matter what you do, don't allow the politics of ideology to evaporate the soul that still exists inside of you. They don't stop, I don't stop. Racism won't stop, I won't stop. Systemic bias won't stop, I won't stop. People still need health care, so I won't stop. People still need criminal justice systems reform, so I won't stop. You won't stop either.